Welcome everybody.
Hey guys.
For those of you that haven't seen us before, I'm Matt.
And I'm Luke.
So, Train Sim World
Yes.
is out.
Big console release day today.
Yep.
It should be out by now for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And the re-release on Steam is happening at about 6 o'clock.
So while we're streaming,
that should happen.
So for those of you on PC, you'll be getting I think it's a relatively small update, which will change the name on Steam and a couple of other small things. So that'll be good to see. If you see that happening, do let us know.
It's going to happen while we're streaming, so everyone keep your eyes open for that.
Let us know so that we can share that news with everybody when you see that happening. Anyway, so we're just going to sit and play the game basically, and answer any questions that you've got to the best that we can, and let's get on. So I'm going to start with Great Western Express. I'm driving first.
So Matt is driving first, and we are having a look on the PlayStation 4 release first.
Yeah, PlayStation 4. We are going to. We're just waiting for an Xbox to be moved into here, and then we'll do a little bit on the Xbox as well. Look at this. Middle of the afternoon and two senior execs are skiving and playing trains. Well, not senior execs. Well, we are skiving off playing trains. So.
Pretty much, yeah.
Chatting on social media and, all those sorts of things that you're not supposed to do during work hours. But I think they'll forgive us.
It being today, everyone's in that bit of a celebratory party mood since everything's gone off so well so far. Yeah, usually we clock off at around 5 o'clock, so usually live streams tend to be in our spare time, don't they?
Yep.
Can you
zoom in and out on PS4 Loco? So you can fly around it, but there's no field of view zoom like the mouse wheel does on the PC. Can everyone hear us okay? Is there all the audio coming through okay? Should be game audio very shortly.
That Mad GK is asking if I purchase the deluxe edition, you get the second freight loco. The deluxe edition comes with the GP40-2 locomotive and 2 bonus freight wagon types that you can use on the NEC.
Sounds good. Excellent. So I'm going to run Platform 8, 30-minute service to Slough. What's cool about the scenario is there are 3 trains and you can pick which one you want to drive. And the computer will drive the other ones. If you choose not to drive any trains, the scenario ends and basically you get slapped with the rest. So yeah, just as Luke was saying there, we are playing on the PS4 version tonight at the moment. Although we are going to look at the Xbox One later on.
Get things set up, ready for departure. We'll be heading out shortly.
That Mad GK, you do get some freight locomotives with the standard edition. The standard edition upgrade for the Xbox One gives you the Class 66 in, but that was already there, wasn't it, in Great Western?
Yeah.
But you also get the GP38, I believe.
GP38 comes with the Northeast Corridor. Oh, you should open the door, shouldn't you? Hey, B9Bot, how's it going? Game looks just as good as the PC version. Good job. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Partner saying, want to thank guys for making this game and making the dream come true.
That's really cool to hear. I've seen quite a few people actually posting quite emotionally about being able to play a train simulator on their console. Sort of they'd assumed it was always going to be in the realm of the PC only, and the fact that they can now enjoy it even though they haven't got a PC is awesome. And the fact that it looks and plays basically the same as well. It's not a cut down arcadey experience.
Antonis is asking, is there any news for Rules Ignored? There will be news in the coming weeks over Rules Ignored. Are there any differences between the poor man's PS4 and the Pro PS4?
Not at this time, for Bolicum. So it runs fine. You will naturally find it runs faster because it's got faster CPU. But there's no specific enhancements like higher detail textures and so forth. It does run really well on the PS4 Pro, but only because the Pro is just a fast console.
Smith is asking, do you have to switch on the AWS and DSD on TrainSim World? They are indeed off by default, but you can switch them on.
I've switched them on this in my session. Christian on Mixer, will there be ever more stuff coming to TrainSim for Xbox? There's going to be West Somerset Railway and Rules Ignored coming at some point. As far as what happens in the future, you'll find out in the future. But that's what we know right now, so that's what we can tell you right now. Short answer, probably. 1 more minute to go. You want to see the TGV to Expo? That'd be cool, wouldn't it? That's fast. It's fun to drive the TGV because you've got the TVM 430 signalling as well.
So if anyone's wondering, we're just waiting for our timetable departure for 9:46, so we've got another 30 seconds. Dex Vinyl's asking, are those two expansions coming to PS4 as well?
Yep, sorry, yes, they are. Definitely. The plan is to release everything we released to Xbox, we released to PlayStation 4. There's, and probably be fairly well at the same time as well. I think PC will probably be ahead of release for then consoles because it's easier for us to get stuff out on the PC, and then console will come a little bit after. Although we're trying to get that.
It is our intention to sync up the releases so they more or less come out at the same time.
Yeah.
And we're definitely aiming to have them all released onto all the platforms. So.
God's puzzle. When you get a pacer, that mad GK, when the world is perfect. It will be the last ingredient required to make a perfect world.
Schlick saying that Twitch is yet to update the game title. Wasn't Martin on that?
Big BK, take your pace of hate somewhere else, please. Well, we'll sit here and do a TPTS with freight trains, just for you. Balika on Mixer, can we tell you more about the Rules Ignored release? The easiest thing for you to do to get caught up on all the news is to go ahead and look on the website. Martin, I don't know if you can pass a link to the articles. Excuse me, folks, 1 minute. Cool, thank you. We are now hooked up with Xbox.
Excellent.
So this game is TrainSim World. That was AWS, and it's now available. If you've got Founders Edition, then on Xbox One, then there is an upgrade path which you can do by firing the game up and just there's some new buttons will have appeared, and you can use those to get the upgrade at a really nice discounted price. Otherwise than that, you'll find it on the digital stores, so on PlayStation and Xbox stores. I think we're on the front page of the PlayStation store and the Xbox store, in fact. So it should be really easy to find.
Samuel VS5 is asking, is it low graphics settings on the consoles? We are currently playing it on the PS4. So this is how it looks on the standard PS4. This isn't the Pro PS4.
Rockstar, no, there isn't an Xbox One X enhancement upgrade yet either. Again, it will run better on the One X, but not. It won't take advantage specifically of the extra features.
Ambazola is asking, is this the dreaded 450? No, that was a release for Train Simulator 2018, the Portsmouth Direct Line. We are currently playing Train Sim World, the GWE route.
Afraid you can't open the window, I think, on these ones, Jigsaw. It's amazing how quiet the cab of these things is in real life, actually. Quite insulated. What's that? Green. So 5.4 kilometres to our first station stop, Eden Broadway. Just chasing the yellows at the moment.
410 Nick on Nixer is saying, Matt, proud of you guys, man. Actually got early access to the game yesterday, and I must say the level of detail that went into rapid transit on the base Xbox is insane.
Wow, that's really cool to hear. Thank you, Nick.
And yes, guys, the upgrade for the Founders Edition on Xbox did happen slightly early yesterday, but these things happen.
Yeah, one of the challenges with releasing any game on any platform is because it's got to go all the way around the world, and you've got potentially a lot of people trying to download. It's essentially done as a staged release, and there's also then lag time from the minute you press the button is pressed to release the game to when all of the computer systems that are managed in the entire of the Xbox or PlayStation or Steam networks then take those changes on, make it available, make it download. So it's actually more a 24-hour window rather than it happens at 6 o'clock or something like that. So what we wanted to do is get it to you so that you had it by now, not starting from now. So so those of you who got to play with it earlier, awesome.
Yeah, this is pretty much what I've been saying on all of our social channels over the last 24 hours or so. Lots of people have been asking, what exact time will it be released? Well, we can't really say. We just know it's going to happen sometime today, but apart from that,
Have all the PCB knowledge buttons been fitted on the PS4 Xbox controller, Ferromero? So the only one you can directly access is PCB knowledge, which is on the circle or the B buttons, the one on the right hand side. So it's the same one you'd also use for acknowledging AWS and CIFAR and DSD and so forth. If you want to do PZB free or override, then effectively you look down at the cab, you find the button, and you click it. Because those ones you use less often, whereas acknowledge you need to be able to use frequently.
Silent Harley on Mixer is asking, if you overrun the station with one door hanging off the end of the platform, will it stay closed or will it open?
It'll open. It's something that's on the list to make it work better, but at the moment the door's open. The passengers won't try and get off it. The passengers realise that they shouldn't be getting off there, but the doors will open at the moment. Well, 1.4 kilometres. No, it's not VR compatible yet, Wally. How would you use a free cam? I'll show you. Once we get into the station.
Only getting into the station. I'm sorry, I can't quite read your name. It's in bright green, but he's asking how much is the upgrade on Xbox One? If you have the Founders Edition on Xbox One, the upgrade to Standard Edition is £9.99. Or if you want to go for the Deluxe Edition, that is it's £14.39.
When will the title on Twitch change to the Train Sim World? I'm going to have to contact Twitch and find out, because the way that has to work is a little bit confusing, but we'll get that sorted. So, free camera. Press and hold the right stick, get the camera menu up. Left joystick to control it. External cameras, press with the X button. Go to free camera. Once you're in the free camera, you must press the triangle or the Y button on an Xbox controller, which will then switch you to camera mode. Notice it says camera mode on the right hand side there. Press it again to go to driver mode. Right. So in camera mode, I can fly the camera around with the sticks. I can use the trigger buttons to go up and down, and if I use the right bumper, then it will do a camera lock, which means I can look down and go forward, and it won't go up and down. Whereas without camera lock, it'll obviously go in the direction the camera's facing. If, when you're in this mode, you then want to drive the train, you need to press the triangle or Y button and switch back to drive mode. Now, you can no longer move the camera. Now you're in full control of the train. So there's lots of controls to driving a train. We can't mix the camera and the controls and have it still work. So you flip between the two modes. So always use the triangle or the Y button, depending on your controller. Are there collectibles in NYC? Do you mean on North East Corridor generally? There's lots of collectibles, TSW, yeah. Lock the doors.
Any news on when the West Somerset Railway is coming to the consoles? We don't have news on the specific date, but we hope it will be as soon as possible. WSR is not included in today's releases.
Where is it? Thanks. There was some AI at the beginning of the scenario for Romero. This one is a little bit light on AI.
Scotsman is asking what time is the game launching on PC? You should see the changes to your Steam install happening at about 6 o'clock, so during this stream keep your eyes out open for that. And if you're waiting for the game to come out on Xbox or PlayStation 4, it should already be live.
Four kilometres to go.
Pro Mixer is saying I want to see CSX soon. We're going to be having a look at the NEC route in a bit.
Okay. 3.2 kilometres.
Something we forgot. There you go.
Got a dodgy hat on.
The mysterious arm was provided by Martin. He's now running back to his PC to carry on moderating.
Thank you for the hats, Martin. Council Mage, is this placed on real places and destinations? It certainly is. It's a 1-to-1 scale recreation. So everything is... you want me to take the hat off? Sorry, Baked Bean Kid, is that right? What would you prefer? And I'll do the opposite. Yes, so it's 1-to-1 scale recreations with of a particular area, in this case between London Paddington and Reading. Will those hats be available to buy? Luke can tell you about that.
These hats are going to be given away as prizes in competitions over the coming weeks. So keep your eyes out on social media. We shall be doing posts for competitions where you could win a hat, much like this one. Some shirts that we've got that have the Train Sim World brand on them, and various other bits and pieces.
Yeah, I just noticed driving in metric Electrostar. I'm going to fix that. No, I've won them all at this point, Baked Bean Kid. I put them all on for a bit when it just one evening I was here. I just basically wore all of the hats.
Yeah, we had to quality test all of them, you know.
Sort of pushed the wrong button there. Let me just move up a bit. You can pick the game up in stores as well. We've already had our Sterling office went down to their local game store and somewhat raided the place from the look of the photograph. And they tweeted as well, which was pretty cool. Will the hats be signed? I presume you mean BMJ. I don't think that's the plan now. Matt is a noob driver. He certainly is. Who is this Matt we're talking about anyway?
Bean Kid is saying, was all this console stuff done by the guys up in Sterling?
No. It's been sort of a team effort across the board. The Sterling guys did some of the optimization work on the Groot, and some of the engineering work was done down here. So yeah, I mean, a lot of our projects are across both areas, rather than having specific projects in specific places.
Blue Suns is asking, is it possible to remove the green markers on the track when you enter a station?
Certainly is. I think on console, I can't remember actually. On PC it is.
On PC it's definitely possible.
Not tried. Baked Bean Kid just gave us a compliment. Who are you and what have you done with Baked Bean Kid?
H22 Steam is asking, will the TSW hats be available to buy in the future? I might have to ask Doug, really. I'm not entirely sure.
I don't think there's any plans on that at the moment, but you know what? Who knows what the future brings?
At the moment, we've got a job lot in which we intend to give away as competition prizes. And I'm not sure if we're planning on anything more than that at the moment.
You just have to enter all the competitions. Safe Train Man, on the deluxe edition, you get an extra locomotive, GP40-2, which you can run on the Northeast Corridor route. How much will the game cost in stores? I actually don't know what the prices are, Nathan. Best bet is go and have a look, and then while you're there, pick it up. Oh, it's one of the other voices in Baked Bean Kid's head. Okay. Got 1.7 kilometres. Steam release time is in 1 further hour, Antonis.
Yeah, keep your eyes on that. It's going to happen while we are streaming, so you guys let us know when it happens. Falcon here is asking who is playing right now. Matt is driving right now.
I'm driving. Can't you tell?
You can tell when I'm driving, I spend my entire time looking at this screen when I do. Yeah, of course, big shout out to everyone who's bought the Founders Edition on Xbox. And that says Till Official YT. I can't quite read the name, it's too bright, but what platform is this on? We are playing on the PS4 right now.
Oh, who's the platform? Where is that with the team?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of other people reporting this as a random thing. I've never seen it myself.
This is Hayes and Harlington, isn't it?
Yeah,
We've had a few reports about this. It's just, I think this is the first time we've actually managed to recreate it. Volvo Lover is asking, will further route DLCs for consoles be the same price as they cost on Steam? They should be. We're not entirely sure right now, but they really should be.
Yeah, we're running on PlayStation 4 at the moment, Safe Train, but we are going to be switching over to the Xbox shortly.
Being kids saying when they can find an Xbox. We've just had the Xbox delivered to us, so.
Please add some buttons on the PS4 to control the wipers. It's the left button or the D-pad left on the Xbox controller. So you press it, and there you go.
TSW 1973 is asking what will come after the WSR. We've already announced the Rules Ignored route, and that is coming after the WSR.
West Drayton 1009. Any news on a release day for what, Nick?
Technically, we're having a release date today.
2 kilometres, or 2 miles now. Yay! Nick, no, there isn't a release date yet for Rosig North. Go through Airport Junction.
TSW1973 is asking, will there be more US routes in development?
Sorry, say that one more time.
He's asking, is there going to be more US routes in development?
Oh, there'll be lots of routes in development. Can't go into any specifics at the moment, but lots and lots of things.
Pretty much what we can say is that we are working on new routes all the time, really, aren't we?
Yep. Yeah, some parts of the development team are working way ahead because their bits take less time, so they can they can jump way ahead of where other parts of the team are.
Just going to West Drayton now.
This is indeed West Drayton. My timekeeping is terrible.
Oh dear, 2 minutes late. Yeah, we're getting Britannica on Twitch saying that the update is already out on Steam. Slightly early if it is. Is there anyone else that can see that? Yeah, we've got Techie downloading on Steam right now as well. We're getting more people saying it now. It looks like the update is out on Steam already.
Fantastic. Ooh, and a click ball. Time to go. No, alright, not yet. Very good. Panic thee not. So the other one is D-pad right or right button on the PS4 turns on your torch. And if you fall down on the tracks, whoops, we fell off the platform. You want to be looking for something like these little steps here. You walk up to them and press the triangle or Y, and you can jump up them. Briar, no, the improved traction physics haven't gone into console. They'll go into PC first. They will go into console at some point, but PC first when they're ready. There is indeed a torch on the PC version. You press the L key on the PC for the torch. Been there since Heavy Haul first launched. But a lot of people don't realise it's there. G-Cook Scotland is the name, the only update to Steam version, and there's some like branding changes. So a couple of the images have changed. It's a pretty small update, to be honest.
Mind by it saying you mean flashlight, right? Well,
Torch.
UK English. Marcus Liberty is trying to convince us that he's completely new to this game.
Yeah, alright, Marcus Liberty. We'll believe.
Yeah, as Baked Bean Kid says, it doesn't flash, so it's a torch. Oh, here we go, we've got more people arguing now. If it doesn't have a flame, then it's not a torch.
Right, coming into Ivor. How's it running for you, Dex? Matt. Got some time, excuse me there, madam. What we've got down here. Nothing useful.
Baked Bean Kid says, I think Matt is currently looking for a passenger who's happy to have him drive.
No passengers willing for me to
No
drive.
passengers here,
So
they all run off over the
empty
bridge.
train.
The Apples are saying that after all this time on Founders, it's taking some time getting used to the new locomotives. If you've upgraded your Founders edition today, you should have 2 new routes to play with.
Langley. We've made it to Virginia already.
A very short hop across the pond.
Andrew GWB, it's important to realise, I think, that the consoles are they're not unlimited resource platforms, and the game is mostly about driving trains and walking around and so forth. So it's about providing enough variety on the passenger. I find there's quite a lot of variety, but there's the variety is generally in the clothing rather than the faces. I think there's only 3 or 4 heads, as we call them. But between different heads, different hairstyles, different clothing, just as a general case, you don't see too many. It's not obvious where the cookie cutters are. That's kind of the goal, anyway.
Blue Sun saying it's happening on Steam. Can't wait to be all set. The Apples is loving it as well.
Restrooms on trains can't be opened, no. I tried, but the artists don't want to model that. I guess I can't blame them, it's not critically important.
Either that or they all became occupied when they heard that Matt was driving. Techie saying, here's a question for you guys. What 3 numbers add up to make 18? 16, 1 and 2.
15, 1 and 2.
15, 1 and 2. Or 62 minus 1. Yeah. I don't really need maths in my job.
What map? Yeah, rocking those maps today. We're finding anything else, but we're finding the maps. Okay.
Ticket checks are in operation at this station. Please have your tickets available for inspection.
Health and safety out the window.
Are there collectibles on the NYC route? There's certainly RTSW. I think there's 75 or 100, something like that. Nothing substantial, Simon. No. It's about aligning the releases so that from our perspective we can build on the on all the platforms at the same time. All the previous updates that we've done have all gone out to the PC already, so all the changes we've done have been given out earlier.
In TSW 1973 there are collectibles on Rapid Transit as well.
Yeah, there should be collectibles on every route.
Andrew GWB is asking on Mixer, if you're driving a train and arrive at the station and want to get off, how do you release control?
Wait 2 minutes. There's, one of the things I'd like to do in the future is add a button so that you can force it to happen immediately, but if you just wait 2 minutes, after 2 minutes of not being in control of a train, it'll pop up a box saying, do you want to let it go? Miles. Does it have trophies on PS4? It certainly does.
Scarecrow saying 106 degrees today there. Yeah, it's been toasty here for the last couple of days as well.
Nathan, anything is possible for the future. Double yellow. I approach to Slough. Are there any differences between the PC and the PS4 version? Not fundamentally, no. The detail settings are set a bit lower than the PC. PC can go higher than this, and the service mode in some cases has had some services removed for the PC version. Sorry, for the PS4 version, console version. But even there, it's the vast majority are AI services that you can't actually drive at all anyway. Right, rolling into Slough. Yeah, the Talent 2 has got pretty nippy acceleration and braking, Falcon.
Martin, if you're still there, would you be able to put up some links to the store pages on Mixer? We're getting some people asking for the prices of the console versions.
Pinks, we are listening to chat. Can you not hear us? Have we missed something you've said? You're picking the game up on Thursday, Harkness. Excellent.
Good work on that run. There are plenty more duties you can sign up to.
Notorious Soldier's asking, where can I get those cool hats that we're wearing? These two hats. A closer look. These hats are going to be prizes for giveaway competitions that we're going to be running over the coming weeks. So keep your eyes out on social for that. As well as these hats, we've got some very nice t-shirts, bits of stationery and other bits and pieces that we are getting ready to give away in contests.
Whew. Yeah, dear. Well, I got the last two stations on time. Ish. Excellent. Right, so just going to switch over to the wait screen and get the Xbox set up, and then Luke's going to do a ride on the Xbox. So bear with us a minute, folks, while we just get switched over. Oh, you won't be able to hear anything.
Okay.
No, that's the wrong thing. Right, we've just changed over. We've got no idea whether this is going to work. Oh no, you will be here. That's fine. Just waiting for the Xbox is still. We literally just fired the Xbox up, so it's take a moment. Dean, no, we just did the PS4 version. We're just switching over to the Xbox. Seems to be taking its time to get booted up. SR Tipper. So not everyone's going to get the game, and that's fine. Not everyone's going to, want to play. The same as I don't play FIFA. If I was to review FIFA, it'd probably get a pretty low score, which wouldn't necessarily be a fair review. So it's fine. They do. I think, remember rightly, they do say that the game is super accurate. So I think it's a good acknowledgement that if it's something you're into, then you'll enjoy it.
Oh, we do have sound.
Are you guys getting sound as well? Hopefully you are.
Hopefully they are. I mean, I can hear it.
I mean, everybody should as well. Then, so, go ahead.
Right.
So,
can we go over to here?
well, that's good. We weren't sure how switching consoles midstream was going to go, but that's good news. That works. So, right, we're on the Xbox now. You can hear it on the mixer side. Excellent, GoldenEye.
Cool. Getting audio then. Yeah, it's just to confirm to everybody that I am now in control and we are on the Xbox. It's throwing us straight into a tutorial.
There's lots of rumours floating around SR Tipper. Best to wait until there's official comment, and I haven't got anything I can share at the moment.
This is an ACS-64 electric locomotive, also known as the Amtrak City Sprinter. It's used exclusively in the northeastern.
Is that my good lady?
Climb aboard to get started.
It's an American accent.
Enter the cab through the door.
That'd be
in
my
front
good
of
lady wife.
you. To begin powering the locomotive, first press the battery button for at least 5 seconds.
Yeah, Mrs. Matt, exactly ECM2.
Next, head through the door to the right and down the corridor to the pantograph selector panel.
Hey there, Notorious Soldier.
Head back to the cab, and when
They both run, both play well. I think the frame rate is possibly slightly higher with the PlayStation, but you know what? It's very enjoyable on both. The experience is identical. So, how can you take stills? Do you mean screenshots? So I think you in Xbox, if you just press the X for me, the big one. The big one, that's it. Just press that. And then in here you can just press Y. Just press Y, that's it. That takes a screenshot, remember, right? There you go. Screenshot saved. So we've got a screenshot. And on the PlayStation controller, there's a share button. If you press the share button, and you can the thing that
Finally,
slides over. You
the
can
main circuit
do
breaker,
screenshots,
or
video
MCB,
captures, and so
into the
forth via
closed
that.
position. To show that this locomotive is operational, set the headlights to bright and turn the ditch lights on.
That's one of these ones, isn't it?
Use the reverser to set the direction of travel. Move the lever to the forward position.
As you don't know, it's one following me. Nice, Notorious Soldier. There's good experiences to be had on both of them. I mean, I've been a long-term Xbox One player, and I always really enjoyed that. But probably since last Christmas, I picked myself off a PlayStation, and they both have their strong points and their weak points. They're actually both really good consoles, actually. Press and hold the left stick.
Good work so far. Now, apply power by moving the master controller to at least 40%.
The challenge with the cold starts, Funyun, is that in reality trains, very rarely would you take over a train that's actually cold and dead. They sort of happen at the beginning of the day and things like that when it's pitch black and so forth. So it's not strictly true. It's close enough, but it's one of those things that if you're taking over a service like this, it wouldn't be cold and dead. So totally get what you're saying. We also need to be conscious that some players can't do that. We don't have a way of you saying I don't want to do cold starts, just make it always start warm. So I think once we've got this ability for a player to say I don't want to do cold starts, then we can probably make more of the trains start cold. Notorious Soldier, big fan of Amtrak. Oh yeah, I've got a lot of time for Amtrak. They do good stuff. They gave us a lot of support helping us put this together. It's because of their support that this is such an accurate representation of the ACS64 and the Amfleet coaches as well.
To maintain a constant speed, set the master controller back to idle. To bring the locomotive to
any idea on when Sandpatch Grade and West Somerset will be added to consoles and how much it will cost? So Sandpatch Grade, there are no plans at the moment to bring it to consoles. There's some technical issues with that, but if there's updates, we'll let you know. West Somerset Railway definitely coming to consoles. No date for it and no cost for it yet. And also the Rosig Nord route that we're just starting to talk about now on our website, coming soon for PC, will be coming to consoles as well. Again, no date for it yet. Nathan CSX, Train Sim World is built on Unreal Engine 4.
Nice work. Take this basic training and apply it to further operations and you'll do great.
So that's the tutorial.
Let's go and do a... should we do a scenario or a service mode?
Do a freight scenario.
Do a freight scenario?
Yeah, do a freight
We'll look at a bit of CSX then, shouldn't we? Terminal switch, backtrack. Do backtrack.
Yeah, let's do backtrack.
Yeah.
So this is freight. So this is with the CSX GP38-2, and we're running out of Fresh Pond. This is it. We've got to go up and get our train. So we're currently at Fresh Pond Junction East Yard, and we're going to go and couple up some cars and then take them up to Oak Point in New York City. Funyun, there is no option to disable motion blur on consoles at the time though. Ideally I'd like to get that in the settings screen somewhere, but we're not there yet.
That'll be fine. That's not filled. There we go.
Brakes are off. And Tory Soldier, will we see an Amtrak seller coming? We've got nothing announced in that front. Coming up this hill is really painful because it's such a low speed limit. Yellow is bouncing the throttle on and off. We will come out of this 5 mile per hour limit. We'll get to 10 mile per hour limit shortly. Better once we get moving on the main line. Runs with me, loving the game, only 4 hours of sleep since download last night. Wow. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, that's really good. Try and get some sleep though. Devil Driver on Mixer, are you guys the developers or something? So we're part of the team. I'm senior producer looking after the Train Sim World project, and this is Luke, who is community manager for Train Sim. And now it makes it slightly less painful. And you'll get up the hill a bit. I need beer. Will Xbox X have any enhanced version? I don't think there's anything been announced on that front yet. It's not there at the moment, so I don't want to promise something that I can't tell you exactly when that will be either. If it's something you want to see, make sure you make your voice heard. Send a Facebook, Twitter, or support message in to the team, and that will make it. That'll make sure everybody here is aware of how much interest there is in that. You need cup holders in the cabs for drink. Yeah. I heard a story once about. I can't remember what class. I think it might have been HST. I don't remember what class it was. It was a British train, and they actually ended up putting a cup holder for this guy's cup of tea because he kept spilling it. Something. I should probably remember the story better next time. But it was amusing. See, it's we only got reference images from our train, and it was, oh, just don't do the cup holder because it's not on any other train. Stubby, do these locos have the applied tweaks to the engine performance? No, at this point the only locos that have the new physics are the ones in West Somerset Railway. The American trains will be the last ones to get done, so the British ones were halfway through, American trains will be the next ones to get done after the British ones. BMJ just picked up Rapid Transit in the Open GP40. Good man. JSW, how about classic locos? I'd love to see something like that. I mean, I'm a big fan of the EF units and any kind of heritage stock actually. I just find them. They feel like they've got more character when you're driving them. The F7's always been one of my favourite American trains, and you can get them in so many liveries. They're all used everywhere.
Right, the map was the middle one, isn't it?
Map on this one is that one.
That one. Right, there we go. We want to be there. And we are at the moment all the way down here. So change that one. If I can get it.
Look at finicky.
More practice with using a console controller. Right, and then I think I'm going to change that one as well. And that should take us there. Excellent.
Excellent.
Right, so now we change reversal to forward. And we'll go that way.
Stevenson's rocket, oh, that would be amazing, wouldn't it, Andrew, DWP? Do all of the ones like Planet and all of those, Jupiter I think was one, and yeah, get some real classic steam trucks. Oh, that'd be amazing. I think you and I are probably the only ones that really appreciate that. But Abject Puddle, yes, Founders Edition, paying for an upgrade. You effectively you're paying less than the price of the. So if you take the original purchase price of Founders Edition plus the upgrade price, it's less than the price of buying the new one. So it is strictly an upgrade price. Wolf Blue Fox, was the bear from Peru going to be added to Paddington Station? Possibly. There might be licensing problems there. Doesn't feel like that would, the effort and the money potentially required for that wouldn't necessarily be worth it.
And do the switches manually this time.
Ooh, hello. Getting adventurous now.
Yeah. So basically, I think we need to go onto those wagons right in front of us there, so we need to switch this one. And this one wants switching as well. There we go.
Right, back up to those cars. Look up.
Swing that in reverse and take the brakes off. So the right brake. Just changing the headlights. Probably going to get someone in a minute saying that the headlights were wrong.
Yeah. Reverse switch to neutral.
Oh, someone did. There we go. Professional driver as ever.
What happened there? Essentially, when Luke went into external mode, he didn't switch it into camera mode, and when he went to move the controller to try and move the camera, it actually changed the reverser and spotted that. Easy mistake.
Yeah, because when you're in an external camera view, basically we're currently in camera mode. If you then hit the Y button, it changes to driver mode, so I can actually now control the in-cab controls. For example, we can change the reverse direction to neutral or forward. And if we hit Y again, we move the camera. Right then, so where are we going now? We are capital films. It's capital, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I see, we'll couple up to that one.
Yep, so
Okay.
you now need to change the switch in front.
Yep, so we're going to go into the camera.
We cleared the switch.
No, we haven't.
Let's back up and clear the switch. Yeah.
I think that one is really in the right direction, isn't it? Okay. Switch to forward. So, and there we go.
Ken, yes, we're running on Mixer. Ken, we are running on the Xbox One at the moment. We ran the PlayStation 4 version earlier on, and we're going to run a little bit on this one, and then we're going to switch back to the PlayStation and do a bit more on the PlayStation. Yeah, this scenario does give you a little bit of an opportunity to exercise your thought about how you navigate this yard. Roger Beer, you're off to play the game some more. Excellent, enjoy. GoldenEye, we're off to Oak Point once we've got the second cut of cars. We're not there yet.
Clear the points now.
Abject Puddle, can you make your own company? No, so the game is a driving simulator rather than a company management simulator.
Which one's we going to? That one, so that one needs changing as well. There we go.
Nathan, would this be open world game too, since you can collect hats and items even though it's mentioned to be a simulation game? Essentially, yeah. I mean, you can wander around the map and there are collectibles there. that you can do, or you can just ignore the collectibles if you don't want to. It's up to you. But yeah, there is an open world element to it, because if you want, you can just walk around and watch the trains moving and do their own thing. You don't have to drive them. Or you could climb on. You could find a freight train, hang on a ladder, and have it drive up and down.
Right, so now we are going forwards.
Forte Nick, can you explain how the access system works with NEC? You had a bit of trouble last night complying with the train when you activated it. It's probably better explained in a tutorial of some sort, to be honest, Nick. Essentially, once access is enabled, you get a time to penalty, which gives you advance warning of reductions. You need to make sure that you keep that from getting to 0, you need to respond to the ATC as well. Yeah, I think that's a big question that perhaps we'll run a bit of ACS 64 this evening, I'll run it with the access and ATC on so that you can see. Joey Gold bought it for PS4, loving it already, fantastic. Wolf Blue Fox going to put the game back on after some food. Nice. Enjoy it. Hope you enjoy it. Right, so we're off to Fresh Pond Junction now. So we head north from here, and we join up with the Northwest Corridor in a little bit, and cross the Hellgate Bridge, which is just gorgeous. Then we swing east, and as we come down from the Hellgate, down from the bridge area there, we then come into Oak Point. So. I've blinked about 400 times, C Mark, so read into that what you will. Big Beacon, did you know Hellgate Bridge was the design chosen for the Sydney Harbour Bridge? They are very similar, aren't they? There's an option to change weather conditions in the game. So scenarios are fixed and you can't change anything about the scenario. But in service mode, you've got pretty much the full flexibility and you can change. You can pick a service any time of day and you can change the wind, the weather, the snow and so forth. And there's different times of year that you can pick as well. So if you want to do winter with snow, winter without snow, raining and so forth. Things will progressively get wet as well, or dry. It takes a little longer if it's dry. And similarly, if you start a scenario without snow and you say set it to snowing, then and you set to make sure the temperature is sub-zero, then you'll see the snow actually building up as you drive down the route as well. Zufan, so we are just showing off the retail release, which is a big release today. The console release of the game. We haven't got anything new to show on Was Ignored. I would have loved to have shown you something, but it's not really there yet. Nearly, very nearly. Yeah, as soon as we can, I absolutely dying to show you something of Was Ignored. It's so good. Empire. Slightly biased.
rep up the engines a little bit there. That sounds nice. That really does.
Elite Box 7, no action at all. So it depends on your definition of action. So this is about driving trains. And if you feel that, you figure that you're in charge of, hundreds of tons that won't stop in a hurry, but you still need to be driving at fairly decent speeds, there's a lot of concentration required. So it's a different kind of action. If you're looking for first-person shooter action or racing action, then no, it's not. It's not that kind of action. It is very much about concentration and planning ahead, learning the systems and reacting to that. But it's a very different type of game.
It's not like driving a race car. These things need a lot of time to stop. Especially when you're driving the longer, heavier trains.
Check your map, and you've got a That's good. That's good. Speed limit will go up as well as we get a little bit further down the line. It's 40 miles an hour we reach. Legend of Kiss 1974. Is it free if you have the Great Western Pack on Xbox? No. So there is an upgrade deal, which means you end up paying less than if you just bought brand new now. Sort of a bit of a thank you for everyone who bought Founders Edition. If you were to buy, so if you've got Founders Edition now, which is Great Western, when you fire the game up, you'll get two upgrade options. One for the Standard Edition, which costs £9.99, and one for Digital Deluxe, which is just around £14, I think.
It's £14.39 for Digital
£14.39. And then you've got so the Digital Deluxe is the same as Standard, except you also get the extra GP40-2 Loco on the that you can run on the Novice Corridor. Yeah, so the overall upgrade price, if you bought brand new, you end up paying less essentially. Corky Bushek, what is the objective of the game? The objective of the game, so this is a train driving simulator, and it is really just about exactly that. It's about driving trains. It comes with 3 different routes in different parts of the world, and it's just different types of experiences: freight trains, passenger trains, learning the signalling systems, learning the trains. That's the element, the simulator element of it. Is really about learning those bits and sort of getting the experience from the driver's perspective. The scenarios that you can play, there's tutorials to help you drive them. Scenarios are a bit like regular missions. And then there's service mode, so you can walk around and watch trains. It's about really enjoying trains, whether you want to drive them, ride on them, or whether you want to drive them, ride on them while when children spot them. We're going to have more British train lines. So the West Somerset Railway is already out on PC. It will be coming for Xbox One at some point in the near future, hopefully. We will. In whether will there be other ones after that, I'm sure. There's nothing announced yet, but watch this space. Late Being Kid, what's the news on the Spectrum 48K rubber keyboard edition of TSW? It's working fine on my Spectrum, but I've decided that the fact that you need 1,000 tapes to install it to be able to run it, and 16 weeks to load the game, is probably not going to work. It's not a great user experience. So I need to append joke off that for anyone unclear. So no floppy disk version. Well, no, again, it's still, a good few hundred floppy disks. If you've got any suggestions for routes, Nathan and anybody else, if you go onto our forums, there is an area in the forum specifically for you to recommend any routes, trains, or just experiences, anything you want to see. Just go on there and try and be a bit more fleshed out in things that you propose as well. So, put screenshots in, say why is this good, what trains would be on there, and what liveries, what operators. Put as much information there as possible. It's almost as if you're trying to sell it to somebody, because then other people will look at it on the forum and they might get excited about it too, and or say, yeah, actually I like that one, this is why I like it. This is rather than just saying do X route, because though we get thousands of requests like that, make yours stand out, and it becomes easier then to see why these routes are great, why they matter to you. If someone suggests a route and you're already working on it, does your face twitch at all? No, my entire body twitches. That's what we're doing right now. Twitch, mixer, Steam.
Should be an outside cam.
Oh, ACS overtaking us. Yeah, Luke's doing stellar with the controller. This is your first Xbox experience.
This is my first time on the Xbox, yes. I had a little bit of practice with the controls. The controls very similar to the PlayStation 4 that we did a lot of on Friday. There's the bridge.
Highway bridge coming up.
the other way? It is.
It's almost like it was tongue that way. Yes, I think we've all the suggestions get looked at Volvo Lover and Zilfan, but it takes a long time to make a route. I think the Royal Z group is currently running around just over 2 years development time, just so far. So it takes a long time to make these routes, and we plan a route over a year in advance. So if you make a suggestion, it's not going to happen tomorrow. And suffice to say, we get a lot of suggestions, so there's no guarantee it will happen, or will happen anytime soon. But if you don't put the suggestions in, then we can't hear what you want to hear, what you want us to make. Very much. How many more routes after RSN and the team already working on or planning? Quite a few, actually. Paul UK, is this Mixer? Is this one Xbox One X enhanced? No, it will run on Xbox One X. It does run better on a One X. But we're not running on the One X right now. We're running on a regular Xbox, but it doesn't have Xbox One X enhanced functionality.
Just over a mile to go.
I would, as you come through this bridge over here, I would jump onto the map and just double check your route into the yard. So we don't know where we're going in the yard. So what you need to be doing is roll up to the that stop point, the way routing point slowly, so that you have plenty of time to then set your route if necessary. And we've got speed limit dropping to 15 anyway as you come off of the bridge. Zoom fancy, the answer to your question about why expand on other platforms, still work on 18 but don't provide more content for TSW is because different people do different things. So putting it onto different platforms doesn't affect how much content is created, essentially. None of these things are quite as straightforward. You might want some breaks.
I thought it was a little early, yeah. See, there's loads of them.
Scoffy Cash, what's the objective of the game? So it's about learning train systems. It's about learning. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on with driving trains, particularly those like the ACS64 with the in-cab signalling. There's the different activities like learning to shunt in yards. And train control stopping points. One of the most challenging things about driving a train is stopping it. Braking is quite challenging. and you can stop it anywhere, but stopping it in the right place is quite tricky. So that's really what it is. It's practicing and learning and developing those skills.
Oh, I guess I'm supposed to stop there. Right, and we are going into the
Third road.
one. And that one. That one's okay. And that one. Kind of missed the train going last one. Right.
Hey there, JJ Searle. How are you doing, sir? Let's see if you got it right, shall we?
I think I got it right.
Willie Fister, well, how long has it been in the making? So originally it was released on PC about last March, so just over a year ago, and it was probably 3 or 4 years in development prior to that.
Yeah. That's what I want.
The reason for the stop there, X-Rise, was to allow the player the chance to go and set their route into the yard, because otherwise if you were rolling and also trying to figure out the yard, chances are you'd go the wrong way and make a mistake. So the instruction is stop here, sort the yard out, and then get going. When are we going to post the next article about RSN? I'm not sure. I think I've seen 1 or 2 in the making, so when they're ready, I guess. Sorry, I'm not going to give you any. I haven't got anything useful to say on that one because I look after making software. Does your train have free first-class drinks? Cheers. Hey, race car how's it going? Willie, are these legit UK stations, more like GTA Mapstar? So we're actually not in the UK at the moment, we're in New York. These are all real locations. So this is a place called Oak Point Yard, which is just east of Manhattan. The route itself runs from New Rochelle to Newark. and then this is sort of in the central area where all the freight happens. Those wagons on those freight cars on the right there are actually trash wagons. So all the trash that gets picked up in the trucks goes round to Harlem River Yard, round the corner from here, and is then offloaded into these trash cars. Then it's the scenarios and services in here which deal with let you do this. If you really want to drive a trash train, you can then drive the cars up, operate the cars up into here, and then later on take them down to Fresh Pond Junction, which is where in reality they're then taken over by a different operator and run over to the barges, which is where they get rid of it. So kind of a life cycle of New York trash.
There we go.
One of the things that's really interesting about the freight on this route is that none of these journeys are particularly long. So there's some good short experiences, but you can do multiple of them together, essentially. You can chain from one to the next to the next. The freight service mode actually it gives around 10 hours of gameplay, so you can run the whole thing. And I know some people that have, or you can just chop and change, do individual bits, which might be a 10-minute job here or a 20-minute job there, or one of them I think is a couple of hours. It's spending a bunch of time shunting and switching wagons. I keep saying wagons, freight cars around in the yard here.
Just doing that because
Troublemaker.
Alright. There we go. About half an hour-ish before you need to disappear.
Yeah, so I'm going to be heading the stream. I think we're aiming to finish the stream around 7:30. It's about 25 past 6 at the moment. I'm going to be shooting off around 7, although I might be back about 15:15. We'll see. So I might be back for the finish of the scenario. So I think I might have a play now.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't I run the... Shall I run the ACS 64 actually? Because there was a question about the cab signalling on that. And then you can run some rapid transit.
Okay.
Yeah. Right, so I'm going to do a service. Actually, if we keep the time sensible, then I need a scenario. And we'll run City Sprinter.
So since this is a US route, are you going to be using a flashlight instead of a torch?
Yeah, I'm going to be using a flashlight, yeah.
Back to that argument again.
Yeah, it changes to a flashlight when you're in American route.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole bunch of U's disappear as well. And there's a bunch of S's changed to Z's. Rustic Whisper, is the map 100% accurate? Could you find your house? I'm going to go with, it's close, but you probably can't find your house. Modelling individual houses would never fit on a console, so probably wouldn't even fit on a PC. The amount of assets you'd need to download to make it work probably wouldn't fit in memory. So there are fairly standard techniques for creating a representation that sort of feels like it. The idea is that as a train driver, you wouldn't necessarily care about specific houses. As long as towns are where towns are, roads are where roads are, and houses are where houses are, the exact way a house is built, probably not.
So Zoofan is asking, the website says there'll be 2 locomotives for Rosignold. One of them is the 185. What's the other one?
So the one of them is the BR185.2, and the other one is the BR143. Oh, Chris Rogers is here and the puns have started. Oh my word. Welcome, Chris. Yeah, they're actually, one of the things that's really interesting, the BR143 is really interesting to drive because it doesn't really have a throttle controller in the way that most trains do. So I think people are going to initially perhaps find it a bit of a challenge to sort of get your head around how it works, but then because it's so different, it presents a completely different challenge to what you're used to.
Bag, yes, we are on Xbox. We did a bit of PlayStation 4 earlier on, and now we're on the Xbox One.
Why am I doing this? Because I can. Have I driven the 143 yet? Of course. Right then. Doors are open. We need to get the safety systems on, so we'll start. So the HEP is already on. So if you start a service, by the way, make sure you turn the HEP on. So you just get hold of this controller, flick it round and hold it on start for a few seconds, and then let it rest back in the on position. Otherwise the carriage lights aren't on. Make sure you do that. Passengers will thank you. That's ATC. ACSES. And the alerter. Let's get set that down again. I also want to tweak the lights here. So we haven't got any lights on. So over here, you'll see that it's currently saying we've got a clear aspect. We are, it's a 90 speed limit, and we've got no time to penalty or anything showing up. So we're sort of in a good steady state here. Will the controls be the same for console as if you plug a PS4 controller into PC? I think so. If not, then mostly. Lock the doors. Right, we've got power on. Let's go. Got headlights on. We do. Right, so we are at Newark International Airport. International Airport. We're heading towards New York. Penn is where the service will end, or where the scenario ends. Next station is Newark Penn. We're due there in about 3 or 4 minutes, and currently we're running with just this clear aspect and no access doing anything. Right, so it's just beeped. Now you see that our maximum permitted speed is now dropping, so it's gone from 90, it's now dropping down. Now because we're well under it, we don't have to do anything, but it's worth observing that happening. So it's the speed curve that drops the maximum permitted speed down. So essentially access, even if you don't know what the speed restrictions are coming up ahead, access will guide you up and down those speed limits correctly. As long as you use the system correctly, you almost don't need to learn the speed limits, but you should. It is a lot easier if you do.
Boss T on Mixer is asking, is this available on PS4 and PC? It is indeed. The game is currently out on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and on PC.
Right, speed up a bit more. Apologies, I'm not going to be looking at the chat so much while I'm driving this. One of the things you'll find is with the safety systems turned on, you do need to pay a lot more attention to what's going on. Another tip, by the way, if you come in here into settings, personally, my preference, and everyone will be different, is I turn off the next speed limit marker and the next speed limit, next signal marker. If you then press apply, because you've got that information in the top right, it gets rid of a couple of markers from the screen. So the penalty number is going down now. So let's get some brakes going on. And if I put brakes on, you see the penalty number is now not going down very much anymore. Yeah, so it's holding. It's just gone down to 18, and that's because as I slow down, you're chasing the speed limit down essentially. So you know it's bleeped. So now you can see that the maximum permitted speed is going down, 66, 65. The penalty indicator is down to 14 seconds away from penalty. Now it's staying the same because I'm following the limit down. If I was to slow down less, then it would go down, and obviously the bigger the difference, so the much that number changes. Now, when we get below the target speed, that happens, and it becomes 3 dashes on the penalty indicator. So now I can release the brakes, and now I'm fine, and I'm just waiting for it to come down. Now, if you've got a little bit more brave and you're a little bit more practiced, what you can do is you can keep it a lot closer to the, if you bring that time to penalty indicator down to, say, 4 seconds or something, and balance it at 4 seconds, you're a lot closer to potentially something bad happening, breaking the speed limit. But you'll find you can keep your times at stations a bit better. And that's where practice really helps you, because you can, particularly learning the route, you can predict, actually I already know there's going to be something coming on, and I know what I need to do, and you can drive ahead of the system.
Yeah, Ever569 was saying earlier on, there are going to be video tutorials to help newbies with all the locomotives. There are in-game tutorials which will introduce you to the various different locomotives in the game. And we are looking to make some more video tutorials in the future to be hosted up on websites and things.
So we've just dropped to an approach limited aspect, and I've just acknowledged that, but it doesn't affect us because we're going sufficiently slow anyway. But as we come in here, we need to get a little bit of brakes going on because we are stopping. If you just see a blue cone like this on the tracks, what it means is that you must stop over it. If you see a like a gradient section on the track, then you can stop the train anywhere on that section. So just wait till you've got the train over that blue cone, and then stop.
A question from Mixer: how big is the dev team?
Probably that feels like an article or something. Maybe we need to think about that. Because it kind of needs explaining in context. Because there's quite a few people, but they do all sorts of different things. And any individual team is actually quite small. Oh, it's time to go. Release the brakes. Right, we're on power again. So we're still under a 35 limit via ATC. Now, if you look in the top right corner, you can see that it says we've got a 30 limit coming up. So I'm going to be sticking to 30 anyway. But if you didn't know that, then you'd go up to, say, 33, 34 miles an hour. And then when you go past, I think, this signal, then the speed drops to 30. And you're going to have to slow down for it. Yeah, there you go. So the speed limit's just dropped to 30. We're now on an approach aspect.
Anthony Mackenzie on Mixer is saying, what's this week's screenshot competition, and is it open to all the consoles? Next week's screenshot contest will open up to the consoles. We're going to be doing separate threads for each of the different platforms. This week one is still PC only, and the theme was water for this week.
So I've got a red-green aspect coming up here. Again, we'll need to acknowledge it as we go through it. Oh no, here we go. We've gone up, so we're actually time to. So we went up according to the signal, and then access dropped us back down to 30 again. But since we're running under 30, it's not an issue. And that's because of the junctions we've got over here to go over here. Right, we're on a 45 limit now. Even though the track limit is potentially more than that, although I think it is 45 at the moment. You should always be following the limit according to the signal display.
SX Loose on Mixer is saying, is other view called Adam? Well, this is Matt and I'm Luke.
Right, showing a cab speed aspect now, we're permitted up to 60 miles an hour.
Grifsky is asking, what train is this?
What train is this? This is an ACS 64, it's an Amtrak locomotive. I'm kind of stuck in the cab because I've got all the safety systems on. It can be a little bit more chilled if you don't turn the safety systems on, because then there's not a lot can go wrong. But could almost call it a difficulty level. You need to learn a lot more about how the signals work and how the train reacts to the signals, and then how the driver has to react to both of those things in order to keep it moving as fast as possible, but in a safe manner. It's amazing because you learn an awful lot about exactly what kind of pressures a driver is, or engineer in this case, are under, and the things that are going through their head, the stuff that they have to manage and maintain. It's easy to take that stuff for granted. What are we looking at? 2.7 miles. Right, so coming up here is reduced aspect. So this is how you deal with a reduced aspect. You can see it, so I'm going to already apply brakes because I already know that it's a reduced aspect. I'm going to acknowledge it, and I have to get down under 45, and then I can release the brakes. Doesn't matter if you slow down a bit too much. Now, one of the things to remember, which is difficult to see at the moment, is there's a suppression indicator. It's one of the lit bars at the bottom that came up. That's when they put your brakes on to a certain level. If I take my throttle off now, if I now put my brakes on, you can see it starts flashing. There you go. It's just started flashing. And then if I put the brakes on more, it goes on solid. So when that light is on solid, that means that I've got what's called suppression braking on. Now when you get an ATC speed restriction, you have a number of seconds, not very long, to get the light flashing, and then once it started flashing, you get another number of seconds to get it solid. So essentially, and then that's all you need to do. Once you've slowed the train, once you're slowing the train down, that's all you need to worry about. So we're in a 45 miles per hour limit at the moment with an approach limited aspect. So I'm going to speed back up to 45. Andrew DWB, on the HST, does the sunflower alarm ever activate? It certainly does. You have to activate it. You have to turn on AWS, which is two switches on the right hand side of the desk. They're defaulted to off, but if you turn it on, then yes, you will have to deal with it. Right, so we're up at 42 miles an hour, 45 limits.
So Zoofan's been asking, where do we get our information for the locomotive, and how deep is the level of realism?
Sorry, say that one more time.
Where do we get our information from for the locomotives, and how deep is the level of realism?
So I'll tell you what, if I remember, when I come back from this thing I've got to do at 7 o'clock, I've got an interview to give. When I come back from that, which will hopefully be about 7:15, and Luke will still be here, what I will try and do is bring a locomotive manual or two. So one of the things we do is we get access to the locomotive manual. So just about every loco we produce, we reference with the manual. Right, so it's just gone to 30 limit. I'm applying the brakes. And there we go. We're slowing down now. And release the brakes once we get under 30. Don't release the brakes until you're under 30. Until you're under the appropriate limit. And yeah, it'll be fine. It's just tracking your deceleration rate rather than necessarily the fact that you're technically speeding. As long as you're slowing down to the speed limit, that's good. No window on the right. Yeah, there's a window on the right. You can even open it. So we're coming up to Secaucus at the moment. So yeah, how do we get the trains real? So we've got access to the manuals, we've got access to information on the internet. It's amazing how much there is if you look for it. So if you take a particular locomotive, you can you can actually work out what kind of engine is in this thing, if it's a diesel, what kind of traction motors are in it. Then go back to the manufacturer's websites and see what you can find out about that family of engine or traction motor. And then you can start pulling out various bits of information. Sometimes also the manufacturers will give out tractive effort curves and so forth, or you can infer them. The level of information changes wildly depending on what you're doing. But there's actually usually quite a lot of detail. In fact, sometimes there's more information than you can sensibly use. Sometimes there isn't, and you have to make some stuff up, put educated guesses in there. Because fundamentally, obviously, a synchronous AC electric motor, it works the same as another one. There's the parameters in there that change, so you can get it reasonably close. We also try and get visits to the trains whenever we can, talk to people who actually operate these things for real, and get their feedback on what they do. You can't beat first-hand knowledge from someone who actually operates the machinery, drives the trains, to actually sort of say, "Oh, actually, what happens when you do this? These things happen." And that's not usually, those kinds of things aren't usually in manuals. What happens if you don't reduce your speed in time? So if you've got safety systems turned on like Access and ATC, then it will put the brakes on and stop that train very quickly. If you don't have the safety systems on, nothing happens unless you run a red light. If you run a red light, then the game exits. No, I'm not one of the founders of DTG. I've been. I used to run a fairly large website in the UK for train simulation, and so I've been. I've known the people involved in the company since before the company was formed, but I only actually joined the company myself 6 and a bit years ago.
See, Roger's is asking what locomotives are included in the route. Which route?
Yeah, which route? You're talking about this route, Chris? Is there a horn? There is a horn. I'll blow the horn as we leave, because passengers love it when you blow horns in confined spaces. Right, let's release the brakes. So we've got 30 limit in application at the moment.
Yep, he is asking about this route. So how many locomotives are included in this route? We've got the ACS.
It's the ACS 64 in Amtrak livery, and there's the GP38-2 in CSX YN3 livery.
And if you got the deluxe edition, you'll also get the GP40-2 on this route,
which is in CSX YN2 and CSX YN3B, if I remember rightly.
Mm-hmm.
I might not be remembering rightly, but it's something like that.
TSW 1973 is asking, is there a way to disable SPAD? There is not. No. Sometimes you can pass through a signal by requesting permission to pass a red light. But if you pass through a red light without requesting permission, then it's game over.
Let's catch how do you get a TSW hack? There will be competitions at some point, and you'll be able to get it through that. Nathan, well, the bell was recorded from an ACS 64, so if it sounds the same, it's because it sounds the same. It's actually not it's an e-bell, which is quite interestingly different to sort of like an acoustic metal bell. Which is why when you turn the bell on and off, actually, when it turns off, it doesn't play a complete end sequence. It stops as soon as you do it. E-bell meaning it's an electronic bell, so it's effectively like a speaker. Essentially, it's an electronic thing. Right. Still got the 45 limit.
As 11 is asking, where are we driving to? We are heading towards New York.
New York Penn Station.
Yeah.
Alright, we've got a clear aspect. However, access is dropping the speed, so I'm going to put the power on, and then as soon as time to penalty appears, we'll see what it's going to drop us to. Looks like 75, given that's what's coming up right now. There you go. So we're good to speed up for a little bit, a couple of miles. Actually, Zugfan, running a red in some places it usually leads to a suspension for a period of time. I mean, I know someone who was suspended for a year on their first offence, and then they ultimately, unfortunately, they were let go. So it can be a one and done. It's running red light is a bad thing. There is just no other way of saying it.
Citrus Sausage is asking, how do you turn on the screen on the right, which helps you with the speed?
Sorry, what's he saying?
How do you turn on the screen to the right, which helps tell you the speed?
Hang on. You've asked the question now, I've gone in the dark and I can't see what I'm doing. There's buttons over on the top here. It's day night. That one. Is that the one that you mean? Oh, the orange writing on the right. So you need to turn on the safety systems, which are over on the back panel there. If you look back at the beginning of the beginning of this bit on the stream later on in the VOD, you can switch on access and ATC and the alerter with the switches that are on the panel behind me.
The bag is asking, where are the passenger door controls on the ACS 64?
There are no passenger door controls on an ACS 64. In reality, the guard operates them from panels in the walkways. So the way that works in the game is that you press and hold left D-pad or left button on the PlayStation, and you can operate the doors via the HUD. So we're slowing down for the 30. Brakes off. So being slowed down now for the approach into Penn Station. How do you change the colour of the display on rapid transit? So it's similar to this. It's the night. I think it's like a contrast button. So this one's got the brightness switch, and then there's a contrast button. I think on the one on rapid transit. If you ask nicely, I'm sure Luke can show you. You might have to remind him.
Turn that on after we miss the station.
There you go. He's even offered to miss a station.
Mm-hmm. Stephen Arbog is saying, is this not out for the Xbox? It should be out for the Xbox at the moment. You can get the The standard edition or the digital deluxe edition on Xbox?
Kojo62, how do you approach a yellow signal? You're not sure whether to stop or how much to slow down by. So it depends on what country you're talking about, Kojo62. But you don't stop for a yellow signal. That much is definitely true. Normally you should be expecting a red signal at the next signal, so you should be slowing down and being able to stop. There may be sort of German a yellow signal, we might do other things. So US, it depends what other signals that you're getting, but generally speaking, if it's yellow, then you're proceeding at a reduced speed. So slow down and get prepared probably for a red light coming after it. Down a bit too much there. I think we're on the climb back out of the tunnel. So the tunnel under East River. So we're going into Manhattan, we're going to New York, which is where the station is in 3/4 of a mile, and so the tunnel kind of comes down and then goes back up again. So we're on the way back up into Penn Station. It's really interesting actually. Have a look on Google for what Penn Station used to look like, because it's entirely underground now. They demolished it, the entire thing, and they've built other things on top of it. But have a look. I mean, it's such a sad loss. It was an absolutely gorgeous station. And you could see from the surface all the way down to where the tracks were. It's all gone. It's just purely an underground station now. So we'll get the 15 limit trip in 300 yards. I'm driving a bit super cautious, but with a bit of practice and concentration, you can run through here a bit faster. Running a Twitch chat stream is not the best way of doing that. Right, access is just tripped in, and that'll be for the reduction from 30 to 15. But since we're already under 15, it's throwing the 3 hyphens. Right, coming out of the tunnel. This is out of the river, out of the East River area now. We're coming into Penn Station. That's it. We've just entered restricting aspect with 15 mph limit. Ben Nagel just got home from work. Can't play this shortly. Delighted to have a proper train sim on PS4. Thanks to yourself and the team. Thank you very much indeed, Ben Nagel. Really appreciate that. I'll pass that on.
So what's the point of the deluxe edition? The deluxe edition gives you the GP40-2 bonus locomotive and 2 new wagon types, well, freight car types for the NEC route.
Baited Bender, we're actually in a 15 mph speed limit, so I'm doing 13-14 miles an hour. Oh, by now. Someone asked, can you get up and walk around the train? Not while you're moving like this, but once you get in the station, if you want, you can get out, walk down, get in the coaches and have a look at the coaches. In service mode, you could ride the coaches and let the AI drive you, which can be an interesting way of sort of seeing what's going on.
Zoofan is asking, what about the braking system update?
Braking system update? What braking system update are you referring to? There's an engine update coming, but there's no braking system update that I can think of, unless I'm misunderstanding your question. Too heavy on the brakes there. That's it.
Could there be more things added to the deluxe edition? Not at this stage.
Let me get the doors opened and we'll just have a quick wander around. Just show you the carriages. So you can see the doors are open. These are actually the controls that the guard would use to open the doors in reality. Being accosted. Let's get in here. Now we can have a look. This is the... okay, you can sit in any of these seats. Just click on, press Y and you can sit in them. You're thinking about the engine physics, Sugfan. That's the that's the engine physics update. So there's a cafe car as well, which is this one. You see the different interior on it. So, but yes, you can wander around and you can let the AI drive you, and you can enjoy the coaches, or you can get off and you can drive the trains yourself. It's kind of, how do you manage them yourself? How do you want to experience trains, really? If I stop crouching, I might go faster.
So we're going to have to wrap this route up here.
Yep. There you go. All done. On that note, folks, I will be back in a little while.
Right.
I'll leave you with Luke.
Okay, so just me. So now we're going to go and have a look at the rapid transit route. So let's finish off this scenario. We just need to climb down from the train, and that's it. There we go. Alright, so let's head back to the main menu. Alright, sorry if I'm not catching up with chat quite so much here. If I'm going to be focusing on me driving on rapid transit, I'll do my best. Switch route. Right, so these are the three routes that you get in the base game. You got the Great Western Express, which the Founders Edition players have had for quite some time now. But with the upgrade that was released today, you also get the NEC route that we just played on, and of course the Rapid Transit route. Just to remind everyone, we are currently playing it on the Xbox One. And there's the controller for it. So. I'm afraid there is no news on the multiplayer yet. See, Rogers has Matt gone on a sneaky trip to a vending machine. He's had to go to give a quick interview. And he'll be back shortly.
Welcome to this talent to articulated electric
And we're into the tutorial.
unit built by Bombardier Transportation. This is a 3-car variant delivered to the S-Bahn Mitteldeutschland network in 2013. During this brief introduction, we will cover how to start up the unit for operation, get moving, and then how to bring the unit to a stop.
Big Bean Kid saying, interview, has he been sacked? He's not gone for a quick job interview. It's a media interview. Let's climb aboard. There we go. Close the door. And jump in the driver's seat. There we go.
During normal operation, this unit draws electricity from the overhead catenary via a
Nathan
pantograph.
CSX, this route is based in
However,
Germany.
Since the pantograph is currently in the down position, we have to power the initial systems by priming the auxiliary battery. During normal operation, this unit draws electricity from the overhead catenary via a pantograph. However, since the pantograph is currently in the down position, we have to power the initial systems by priming the auxiliary battery. With power available,
Had it a
use
bit more than
the
5 seconds
master
there.
key to unlock the control desk and turn on the multifunction displays.
It turns out that we can actually reach all the way back there. We've got very long arms. Right, we need to turn that to on. There we go. Need to press that button.
Now activate the pantograph so that it raises up and makes contact with the overhead catenary.
No, that's lower. There it is, there we go. And the circuit breaker to close.
Set the exterior lights for normal operation.
Dim beam. There we go.
Set the reverser to forward.
And forward.
Sound the horn to warn anyone around that the unit is about to move. This unit has two braking systems, an indirect brake and a blended brake that is part of the power brake handle. Set the indirect brake to release. This brake is generally not required during normal operation, but can be used in cases of emergency. Finally, switch off the parking brake. Move the power brake handle as required, and the train will begin to accelerate.
Okay.
Great work. The unit is
Superfan
now
saying, why did I sound the horn? It asked me to.
set the power brake handle back to the neutral position.
Yeah, so this is one of the introduction tutorials that you get in this game. There's pretty much one for every locomotive that you want to try and drive.
Bring the train to a halt. To do this, move the power brake handle as required.
Bring it to a nice gentle halt. And that should end the tutorial.
Now that the unit has stopped,
Oh,
press
actually,
the
no, we need to put the parking brake on. That one.
Well done. That
There we go.
concludes this brief introduction to the Talon 2 articulated electric multiple unit. A manual is also included, which covers everything in this tutorial and more.
Right, so nice brief tutorial on that one. Right, let's go and do a scenario. Gambog DK is saying he's been playing the new release for a couple of hours now and is really impressed so far. Runs great on the Xbox One. Really excited for the new content. Great job, guys. Thank you for the feedback on that one. Today is the big release day. It's just been released on the PlayStation 4 today, and the Xbox Founders Editions players can now upgrade to Standard and Deluxe Editions, which brings the Rapid Transit route and the NEC route into the game for the Xbox players. So I'm going to be driving this one. And close the door again and jump into the driver's seat. There we go. Right. That was alright. Let's try pressing that one. There we go. Right, so there is everybody evacuating before we start driving this train. Probably a sensible idea, but never mind. So, let's get ready to move, shall we? Let's put the reverse forward. Bazooka Junior, that's a German train, it is indeed. This is the Talent 2. And in fact, there's another one right there. Right, so we've got to wait another 50 seconds or so for our scheduled departure. Where are we? Another 30 seconds-ish. Get ready to close the door, and then take the parking brake off, and then off we go. Green aspect. So ready to go. Alright, probably time to close the doors. There we go. 5 seconds before departure. Alright, let's take the handbrake off. I thought I did lock the doors. There you go. Let's close them again then. Alright then. And away we go. Okay, not to break the speed limit. And away we go. Red Eye John's asking, what's that person icon in the HUD for? That's to show that we are in driver mode. And that we are directly controlling the, the train's controls. Because as an example, if we went into exterior camera mode, we are still in control of the locomotive, so I can still increase the throttle and decrease the throttle. However, if we press the Y button while we're outside, it then switches to camera view, which now means that our controls on the Xbox One controller is now controlling the camera. And if we hit Y again, it goes back to driver mode. We should really be slowing down. Because guess what, I wasn't paying attention again. Yay! Well, that didn't take long for me to miss the first station, did it? You know what, I think we might be able to stop before the end of the platform. Just about. You know what, I'll call that close enough. How badly did we do? Yeah, you know what? You just about made it. Right, how are we doing? Right, time to lock the doors. Hit the button, there we go. There we are. Off we go again. Never mind, that's precision. Right, so we've got a mile to our next stop. Torresol just saying, trying to order from the PlayStation Store, but their website is down for some reason. We managed to get everyone to crash the PlayStation Store by running out and buying it today. Alright, we need to slow down again. A little early of the stop marker, but that doesn't really matter. Let's open up the doors. And you know what, that's quite nicely in the middle of the station, that one. That was a better stop. Didn't miss it this time, get me practicing now. Just everybody making me drive this one on Friday, you know, when we did our PlayStation 4 stream. We are a little bit early. See another Talent 2 coming in on the other side there. And we can close doors right about now. And away we go again. Right, so our next stop is Markleberg Nord, in less than 1,000 yards. So I'm not going to accelerate too much for this one because it's very, very close. In fact, we're probably looking at starting to slow down again already. This platform looks a bit short as well, doesn't it? Yeah, I missed the stop marker a little bit, but that's not too bad. There we go. Daffy's is asking, is PZB enabled? I haven't actually enabled it because I'm a noob. Still a little bit early though. Another 10 seconds and then we can go. Well, actually no, that's half a minute and then we can go. Could have gotten out and wandered around the station. So yes, the game that's been released today has 3 routes, one from the United States, one from the UK and one from Germany. This is the rapid transit route from Germany. We were playing on the NEC route before this one, and the other route that we started the live stream off with was the Great Western Express route. All 3 of which are included in the standard edition. And if you get the deluxe edition, you get the bonus GP40-2 locomotive for the NEC route. Zoo fans about to head off. Thank you for hanging out with us, guys, and hopefully we'll see you again in the next live stream. And have a good night. Our next station is Leipzig. Convitz. In a little under a mile. A bit of speed demon there, isn't it? See, Roger's asking, is my dinner in the oven when I get home? I'm not going home tonight. Staying in late. Very late. do believe my dinner's in the hotel. There we go, that should do. Open up the doors there. Hey, Quagmire. Dinner's in the office microwave, yes it is. Right, and off we go again. Next stop is Leipzig MDR in 1.3 miles. And Marilyn still thinks the Talon 2 looks like a hamster with its cheeks stuffed full. That's going to wind a few people up. I know quite a lot of people that like this logo. There's a lot of people asking about the route builders and modding tools and things. They are being worked on. And we will bring news to you when we have news to give. Pavel is asking, do I know what the next screenshot competition theme will be? You know what, guys? I'll be honest. I picked the theme at the time of starting the competitions. I've got a list on my notepad of all sorts of different theme ideas that we brainstormed in the office. And when it's time to start the new contest, I do just pick one at random. And I think we're going to overrun this one slightly. Yep, we have. We missed it. That's a short station. Okay, we slightly missed that one. Starting to get overconfident and got a little distracted. Never mind. Got one wagon still on the platform. Try an internal one. There we go. Oh, here we go, it's Luke Peddleston. We're still in the station, it's fine. You did okay, you're still in Germany. Yeah, thank you guys. Right, so 0.7 miles to the next station. We are pretty close together on this route, so you really do need to pay attention to what's going on. Tunnel hype. There we go. Now indeed going into the tunnel. Is my headlights on? I don't think they are. So we come to a stop here, there we go. That should do quite nicely, and we'll open the doors. And while they're doing that, we'll play around with our headlights. We need dim beam, don't we, for the tunnel? There we go. So yeah, we just you know, forget about the thought that I've been doing this entire scenario so far without the lights on. But you know what, you guys never mentioned it before, so yeah, we are ready to go already. There we go. Breaking things, yay! We're going backwards. How did that happen? Can we go forward, please? There we go. Breaking things indeed. Am I sure I'm not Matt in disguise? Well... Matt Pedalston Mark II. Right, now that we can see that the headlights are actually on. Slick says he thought the reverser looked wrong. Of course, he didn't mention it or anything like that. But some people just like to watch the world burn, don't we, Slick? And actually, that wasn't a bad stop, that one. Okay, using brakes 10, but still, wasn't too bad. Sneaky reverser on this fella. Yes, it does have a habit of changing the reverser when I'm trying to operate the external camera and forget to press Y. And off we go again. Viral Cyrix is saying, thank you so much for this game on Xbox. Your 8-year-old who has autism loves it. This game is very popular among people who have autism. And you can sort of see why. It does have a lot to do with practicing things and just finding that sweet spot on the brakes, braking distances. And speaking of braking distances, we might want to start slowing down a bit. Iceburn is asking, can this game work with wheels? Wheels? This train doesn't really have a steering wheel. $650 odd yards to the next one. There you go. And then Flying Scotsman, where's Matt? Matt is giving a very, very short media interview. He will be back as soon as possible. Very, very short hop to the next one here. Already time to slow down. Not quite a lot. Oh. I think that might have been the emergency brakes. Yeah, it was. Oh, and we're on the platform. Oh well. A slight fail. Whoopsie daisies. You know what? It's fine. People can get off and walk. Right, let's remember to put it in forwards this time. Alright, so a decent sprint to the next stop. We've got 1.7 miles to Leipzig Nord. Next week's theme is tunnels. And trains that don't want to come out of them. Hashtag blame Luke. Would hashtag blame Matt still work even when he's not here? You can tell Matt's not here, no one's having to throw the anchor out as they approach stations. One mile to go, and we're out of the tunnel. There we go. How much for you lot not to tell Matt about this driving when he gets back? Oh. I'm pretty sure he's going to find out anyway. What is the reason that Train Sim World Heavy Haul can't run on console? When they worked on Heavy Haul Route, there wasn't actually a plan to bring it out on consoles at that time, so the Heavy Haul Route was not optimised at all for consoles. I think we might be overrunning this one slightly. A little bit. My saving grace being it was a long platform. So yeah, Heavy Haul was not optimised for consoles, so that is why Heavy Haul hasn't come out on the PS4 and Xbox yet. Yeah, thanks for that, Techie. I'll pass it on to Matt for you. We are actually a little bit early at this stop, which is a little bit of a surprise to me. Right. Now we're on the doors. There we go. The viral Cyrex, you understand that Xbox has the release date as the 24th. The Xbox is sort of having a bit of a re-release today, shall we say, because originally you could get the Founders Edition for it. The Founders Edition is no longer available, and today you can get upgrades from Founders Edition to Standard and Deluxe Editions. And those were what were... terrible English, I'm sorry about that. And that is what was released today. The ability to upgrade your Founders Editions. .4 miles to the next stop. To speed. There we go. This third-party freeware can't happen until we get an SDK, and yep, the tools are being worked on. And we will bring the news to you as soon as we are able to. Might be slowing down a little too soon. You know what, we've got time. We still have time in hand, we can just take it in nice and easy. Okay, this is what we're going to start on now. It wants us to the end of this station. Half a minute to bring this train to a stop. We're running ahead of schedule. So that should do right about there. Not to overrun this time because there is a red light in front of us. And I do believe this is the end of our run. Go back inside and close these doors again to finish this scenario. Until 30 seconds passed. There's another train coming in. Right there. we are moving into the hedge hunt now.
Bitte achten Sie auf den Abstand zwischen Zug- und Bahnsteigkante.
Right, don't go too fast, this is just a shunt. And we want to stop before the buffers. Don't really want to stop on them. Oh, we are speeding. Whoops, my bad. Still speeding. And we're going to a stop there. That should be enough. There we go. Nope, that's not enough. Alright. Let's creep it forward a little bit more. There we go. Matt's interview is a long short one. Yep, I was kind of hoping that he'd be back by now. Alright, so we need to climb down from the train to finish this scenario. Just open the door on my face and climb out. There we go. There we are. Right then, so that was Train Sim World on the Xbox One. So we have actually run to the end of our scheduled time for this live stream, so I guess I'm finishing off on my own because Matt is still nowhere to be seen. So today we took a look at Train Sim World on the PlayStation 4 and on the Xbox One. Today was the big release day, so they are all live now, and we've also had our update on Steam for PC players. So yeah, go check out the deals if you haven't already. There is the upgrade options for the Xbox One Founders Edition owners. You can upgrade to the Standard Edition for £9.99 and the Deluxe Edition for £14.39. And the Deluxe Edition gets you the bonus Locomotive, the GP40-2, and 2 extra wagon types for the NEC route. So thank you guys very much for watching, and we will see you again soon. Cheerio!